Pleased to bring in right now Florida Congressman, a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, also a U.S. Army veteran, Congressman Greg Steube. A pleasure, sir. Always good to have you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, so we look at this meeting, and it's the first time the two have met. You know, we know all the threats to democracy. Biden's used that term, but it seems like this was a really interesting moment there, and a much calmer moment. I think Donald Trump, you could hear the scrum of reporters, but this could be what looks like, you know, not just a peaceful transfer, but lots of hope for American people as they look forward to 47.
You can feel the excitement up here in Washington. It's like a huge weight has been lifted off American shoulders with the election of Donald Trump. And you can feel that up here. You can feel the energy. And what's amazing, I think you're seeing the loss of all of these name calling of Donald Trump being a threat to democracy, because his win was so overwhelming. He won every single swing state. Like, they thought, well, if he only wins Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin, he won all three. And he won Nevada, and he won Arizona, and he won Georgia, and he won North Carolina. So he has a mandate from the American people all across this nation to do the exact things that he talked about on the campaign trail. And if you're Joe Biden, you see that. You see that the American people rejected the last 4 years of your presidency and Vice President Kamala Harris and have replaced it with the strength of Donald Trump.
Work continues. A lot of work, obviously, for Donald Trump ahead. He's very quickly putting together his cabinet. Here are some of his comments earlier today as he spoke to House Republicans.
So you know we had like historic kind of numbers, especially for the president, but we won't get into that. But the House did very well, and I think we're responsible for 31, helping you with 31, meaning we could have lost by quite a bit, and we ended up, I guess you'll be 5 up. Are you looking at 5 or 4? 5 or 4, right? Doesn't matter. We get used to 1 for a little while. When you can get used to 1, you can get used to anything.
Obviously, jubilant times. I want to get your reaction. We said Jack Smith is most likely going to be stepping down. You had Juan Merchan yesterday in New York refusing to throw out Trump's verdict in that Alvin Bragg case when he could have puts it off for a week. You know, the weaponization is clearly something also Americans saw, Congressman Steube, and pushed back on, knowing that this was something that was a sham, like all the other cases. Your reaction to Juan Merchan continuing this case?
Well, I'm sure he's getting pressure from the far left to try to keep the case alive. And some of the things I've heard is he'll just like pause the case and doing the adjudication for the 4 years that president is in the White House. All of that was the complete weaponization of the DOJ. And again, the American people overwhelmingly saw it for what it was. And they saw that Donald Trump, the Justice Department was weaponized against him, and we're using it as a political tool. The complete politicization of the DOJ and the FBI, and we saw that, and Americans saw that, and it has been rejected by the American people. I certainly hope that when there's a new DOJ, a Trump DOJ in there, they're going to look at all of the things that Jack Smith did with that position, the prosecutorial misconduct that occurred not just with him, but in New York and in Georgia, and look and see if there are things that happened that they did that crossed the line of legality. And so what a change in swing of things in this country. But the American people rejected the weaponization of the Department of Justice and the complete going after Donald Trump for the last 4 years.
Florida may lose a senator. We know Marco Rubio is set to be appointed to Secretary of State, and now there's been a lot of talk and push. Even Senator Marsha Blackburn yesterday here on Newsline saying Laura Trump should fill that Senate seat in Florida. Katie Britt also is saying that she would like to see that. What do you think, Congressman Steube?
Yeah, Laura would be great. I think she'd be a great addition to the delegation. I think she'd be a great representation of the Senate in the great state of Florida, where we have freedom in Florida, unlike some of these other democratically run states. Ultimately, that's going to be a decision for Ron DeSantis that he's going to get to appoint that position. And hopefully they do that very quickly. I assume that as soon as Trump swears in, he'll appoint Marco Rubio to Secretary of State, and I hope within days DeSantis will make that appointment so we don't lose that 53-54 vote majority that we have in the Senate, and we can quickly backfill that. So that decision lies solely within Governor Ron DeSantis, so I hope that he will listen to President Trump and his team and their recommendations that they have.
Congressman Greg Steube, pleasure to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.